Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more about building a website with TeamSnap here. So for a little bit of verbiage, just so that we are all on the same page, I'm on the dashboard of my WordPress site, so my public-facing website. If I go back over here into my onboarding test league, this would be the TeamSnap side or the internal communication side, internal scheduling, etc. And the information you populate within TeamSnap can pull over live to your public-facing website. And so TeamSnap site, and then your public-facing website, which is built on WordPress. So WordPress here. So you'll have just received an email if you do have in fact, do have a website to log in to be able to access this platform. It's not the same login that you use to access the TeamSnap platform. So when you log into WordPress, you land on your dashboard right here. And I'd say you could feel a little bit overwhelmed of, where do I edit first? And so I'm going to take you into appearance and customize. That's going to be the first place that you edit. You'll know you're in appearance and customize because it's on the left-hand side here, my editing dock. You can really stay away from the theme and the presets, and we can hop right into general. And so I have the all-star template. You will have chosen a specific template. All of the templates function in the same way in that you can delete information, just simply edit over information, over pictures, or you can completely build out different pages. So you have unlimited pages that you can add to the website, but you do have templated pages that you can simply edit. So if I'm in general here, these are kind of overarching site changes. So your layout would be, is it a full width or is it a boxed site? What's my background? Do I have a background color? Does the site bounce at all? When I scroll down, is there anything behind it, or is it a stagnant site like that? My accent colors, I'd want to set my accent colors. Those pertain to the entire site. So if you can get hex codes from a uniform provider or anything like that, those can be really helpful to populate across your entire site. Your headings and your text, so color, of course, and then font size, so heading size, H1, H2, H3, those are all like codes for tiers of headers. So if we have welcome to All-Star, this is likely an H1. If you tagged it as H2, when you're editing it, it would be smaller. It would pull the font size 30 instead of 36. Your text as well, you can set your color, you can set your default font size. And then your social links. So if I look up at the very top here in my top bar where it says powered by TeamSnap, learn more about creating your own website. So that's my top bar. And then on the right-hand side, I have these Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube links. And so your social links are found right here. So if you update these social links, these would in fact go to your social websites. Let me hop back here out of general. After general, really, you're going to hop into header. You're going to be in footer and your menus. And so those are going to be the big places where you need to edit. So if I hop into my header, I have my top bar and I have my header. And so those two are these two. So this top little quarter inch here, and then this bottom inch and a half here. So the top bar, it's all layout and then style. Same with your header. So layout, what is the structure, style, what does it look like? So I can decide that this is not going to be 2 columns, but in fact 1 column. I can decide what I want to populate, so text, or let's just do social icons. And so now you'll see in my top bar as this loads here, I have Facebook, I have Twitter, I have YouTube at the top, and I don't have text anymore. So same with style. So you can come in here, change your colors, etc. And then we can go into our header. So our navigation of our header, right now I'm navigating to the right, meaning my menu is navigating to the right. I can navigate to the left or I can navigate centered. And so I can move my menu down, essentially below my logo. And so I would do this if I simply liked the way that this looked, or if I had a lot of top menu items and I wanted to make sure they all fit on the same line, I could set it up like this to make sure that they're all across the same line here. So same with top bar, you have layout and then you have style. So again, your colors. And then you have your logo. So the all-star template is simply on the template. You will update your logo image here and here. So you need it to be in both places so that it populates on Retina screens as well, not just on regular screens. And then our nav layout and our nav style, this has a lot to do with responsiveness. So as you change to mobile and desktop, if we go all the way to the bottom here, you see we can switch to an iPad or switch back to a full desktop view. All right, so general header, I can hop into my footer. If I scroll all the way to the bottom of my site, my footer is this last little inch here. These are pieces that pertain all across your site. So again, layout and then style. And you could, of course, edit and adjust all of this. When I make changes, I want to publish those changes. If I click this little wrench, or not wrench, this icon here, this like settings icon, I can decide what I want to do. Do I want to publish it, save it, schedule it to be published, or discard it? And so if I want to discard all of my changes, this would be all of the changes since my last saving. And so typically you want to publish your changes unless you say, oh, I want to revert to the last time I was working on this. All right, I'm going to come into my settings and then I'm going to go into my menus. So in my settings, I have my site title and then I have my tagline. Your tagline likely is not save time communicating with your team. So you can change your tagline. And then if you select an image here, the site icon, that's what populates in the menu bar. So if I even pull this out, up here in the this little piece of paper would be replaced by whatever image you populated here in the site icon. All right, and then lastly, let's talk about menus. So your menu, home, registration, teams, about us, and news. If I click on that menu, I see all of the pages that are in the menu. Your template will come with a set menu. You can, of course, edit and adjust that entire menu, but it will come with kind of these presets. So if I say add items, all of these are pages that have come within my account. If you add additional pages and build out additional pages, they become available for you to add into your menu. So if you decide you want to grab About Us, and you click on About Us, it's going to drop down at the very bottom on the left-hand side here. And now you'll see About Us and About Us. It's listed twice, so it's 2 times in the menu. And over here on the right-hand side, About Us, About Us. If I want About Us to become a drop-down under News, I simply indent it. If I want News to be a drop-down under Contact Us, I simply indent it. So it's all indenting here, and then I can decide I do not want that anymore, and I can go back to my original menu. When you're adding items, you can add actual pages. You can also add custom links. So if I come up to the top, I can link elsewhere. So if you wanted to add TeamSnap here, I could say go.teamsnap.com. My link text is TeamSnap, and I add that to my menu. So now I have TeamSnap as a top menu item. When people click on this, they're taken to the login screen of TeamSnap. All right, let me publish those changes so I make sure that they're saved and go back. You do not have to go into these other pieces here, the widgets, the code, additional CSS. You can, if you personally code, you can override the template settings in terms of your CSS and your coding, but you do not have to. All right, so I'm going to click this little X button, upper right-hand corner. It's going to bring me back to my dashboard. So again, just to reiterate, when we logged in, this is where we landed. We went to Appearance, we went to Customize, and we began editing kind of overarching site changes. I'm going to next go into my pages and my all pages. So if I come in here, these are all of the pages that exist within my template. And so I can add new pages, I can build out pages. I can also hover over any of these pages here. Let's go to the home page, the front page, and click on Page Builder. And so by clicking on Page Builder, I'm entering into editing mode. And so you'll know this because when I'm hovering over these pieces, I have these little blue boxes around them that I'm able to edit. If I go over to the right-hand side, there's this little plus button, and it's going to show me where I can drag in additional content. So before we do that, all of these pieces of information are built on rows and columns. So these smaller pieces are technically the columns, and they sit on top of a row. The row would be this behind piece right here. So if I want to change the settings of my row, I can click this little wrench button. Little box is going to pop up and I can change my settings. I can change the photo within this background image if you're not a soccer organization, etc. You can also click on these 3 little lines and it'll drop down and said reset row width, reset column width if you need to do any of that. You can also hit this duplicate button. This duplicate will duplicate everything that's within the row. So if you want to continue building out your page, you can duplicate this section and then edit from there. And so instead of remaking the wheel each time, you can duplicate pieces that you already have and then edit those new pieces. The same goes for your columns. So on top of the rows, you have these columns. And so each piece has a little wrench. So it'll tell you what type of module it is. So a module, how you bring in content. So it's a heading. Click on that, allow you to edit the column settings. So typically, if you are not able to find what you're looking for in the wrench, in the heading settings, they're usually in the column settings itself. So if I click on the wrench, you see this HTML tag, so we're H3. We could make it a little bit bigger, H2 or H1. I can change this to say, welcome to my site. And you can make this link somewhere if you want to. Do you want it to jump to a new window or no? And we hit save. And now this is the text that appears on my site. So again, you can simply overlay the text that's on your template. You can delete these pieces and bring in your own pieces and kind of edit and adjust as you wish. If I say I'm done and I publish those changes are live on my site. Now I'm simply looking around this site and I can let's jump to the registration page. So if I'm jumping to the registration page, again, this is a templated page. I'm just looking at the normal website. And I go up to the top and I click on my page builder. And so by clicking on page builder, again, I'm in editing mode. And so these are templated pieces of information. I don't particularly need these pieces of information because they're not mine. So I can delete them out of here. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go into the upper right-hand side and I am going to grab a module. So again, we're based on rows and columns. And so I am going to grab space, drop it on my page, and now I have this space where I can pull in a module. So I can scroll down and say, I want to pull in my registration module. This is one of the pieces that pulls from TeamSnap. So the registration form, if I select an option, I have linked my account with the website. So your Club and League account, your TeamSnap account, should already be linked with your website. So when you pull in your registration module, you should see any registration forms that you've already created. So I'm going to say summer sports example, and I'm going to save that. So I'm pulling in my actual registration form from TeamSnap. I can always edit this and I can add custom text, descriptions, media, etc. And then if this registration were open within TeamSnap, so if I went to my test league and I went to registration and I made sure that the summer sports was open, let's open this guy up. If I refresh this page, you see it's now open and I can register now. So they talk back and forth to each other. You don't have to refresh. I was in editing mode, so you could refresh here, but you don't have to refresh or sync anything. They will automatically talk to each other. I'd say done, and I can publish those changes. So that's how you bring in one of the TeamSnap modules. If I go back into Page Builder and I say, let's look at what are our other modules. We have our division listings, we have locations, sponsors, and schedule. So those are the TeamSnap ones. We have all of these other pieces as well. We have basic modules, we have media, we have actions, layouts, etc. So if I say I'm done, and let's go to the team page. So this would be where I could pull in division info. And so again, I can launch my page builder. I can grab my schedule information or my division listing information. Let's do division listing. And again, this talks to TeamSnap. So it's going to show me all of the divisions that I'm looking to link. So if I say summer sports, and I say I want to save that, it's going to pull in everything that's within summer sports. So I have summer boys baseball and summer boys swimming. So I say, oh, that's great. This schedule tab right here will link directly to their schedule. I don't have anything scheduled for them, so nothing will come up, but it will link directly to this specific page. You can pull in the schedule a different way though if you want to. So what you could do is you could create a schedule page. Let's do it on, let's go to About Us just so you can see this. You could create a schedule page. So you could say add new page. And then you could launch Page Builder. You can grab your schedule and you can drop it right in here. And you can say, what type of schedule am I looking to pull in? Am I looking to pull in a team schedule or a division schedule? So some people will, on various places on their site, pull in both. So they'll say on some pages we pull in team schedules, but on some pages we pull in a division schedule. And a division can be the entire organization, so onboarding test league, or my boys division, girls division, some are boys, some are girls, etc. And so you can drill down as low as you need based on how big your organization is. If your organization has divisions and subdivisions, you can drill down to those, or you can say, I'm pulling in the entire organization so people can see a schedule in one place. All right. So that's how the TeamSnap integration works. I would say I have a couple of tips for you guys as you're starting to build. If you're interested in building out team pages or division pages, it's really handy to save things as templates and deploy them later. So say on our About Us page, you loved the way this looked. And so this is a page that you want to duplicate and simply edit the content on that page. If I go into Page Builder and I go to the left-hand side and I have this little drop down, I can save this as a template. So I can name this my division template, my team page template. So if I say my division template, and then if I go over to add content, I have templates and I can look at my saved templates. I have my division template. And so if I decide to add a new page, so I say, let's add a new page. I get to name that page. I can launch my page builder. And at this point, I can use a saved template. So I can say my division template, and it's going to pull that right in. And so now I have another page and I can edit that content. So I don't have to remake the wheel each time. I can simply use the information that's already here or build one page and redeploy that over and over again. The same goes for modules. And so if you're in Page Builder, right now we have our Armin templates. If I go to saved, I have my saved rows, I have saved columns, and I have saved modules. So if I go into modules or say this is a module I'm looking to save, if I click the little wrench, I can say save as. And so that save as will save whatever I have here and I can redeploy it later. So I'd say the fewer times you need to remake the wheel, the better. So save templates, save modules, and deploy them on other pages. If I go to my board of directors, or let's go to our news page, because this will bring us into posts. So on our news page, if I launch my page builder, I am going to hover over these pieces and see what it is. So this is a post setting. So if I go up to my little button, I know that this is a post. So this is actually a post little gallery here. And so WordPress was originally created as a blogging site. And so posts are a holdover of that blogging site. So if I say I'm done and publish those changes, on my news page, when I click on this specific page, it brings me to my post. I can comment on it if I want to. It shows me what it's tagged as, etc. So if I go back to my dashboard, let's go back to the very beginning here. We started in appearance and customize. We worked to pages and all pages. And now we have posts. So let me click into all posts and I can add additional posts. And so you have 4 that have come on the template. I would say delete those and make your own. Some of the time that information's cached on the template, so you'll want to just make sure that it's your information that you're working with. So if I come up here, I say add new post, great. I title that post, I give it some information. I upload a feature image down here at the bottom right-hand side, so what populates. And then I can categorize and I can tag it. And by doing that, when I pull in a post module, I can say I only want to show posts that are categorized as coaching or categorized as teamwork, or tagged as whatever you set as the tags. And so that can be really handy so that you can say, we have a coach's corner or we have multiple sports. And so I tag specific sports to specific posts to specific sports. If I scoot back, just like within posts, you see there's this publish and the visibility section. You can decide how visible something is if you're working on it. The same goes for your pages. So if you're working in a specific page, you can click edit on About Us, and you have a publish section. So how visible is it to people as you're building it out? So those are the main places where you're going to be editing. So we have appearance and customize, pages, all pages, leads us to our page builder. We have posts, you can create posts and then drag them in. You have a media library, so a stock of all of the pictures that you're going to use on your site. You can delete these. I do recommend, though, taking a look at them before you delete them. So this is a background image on one of your pages. Take a look at the file size, like the dimensions, because that can help you understand what you need to populate for your own image for it to optimize nicely. And then you can see here, each image generates its own URL. So if you upload a PDF, if you upload a file that you want people to read, that generates a URL as well. And so if you want to link on your website specific PDFs, specific rules, specific information, upload that file into your media library and then grab the URL and you can link it on your website. So when you go back to edit your website, you can link that URL. All right, so those are the main pieces in terms of editing. You obviously have more information over here on the right-hand side on your dock. And so I'm going to scoot down really quickly to our plugins. And so you're able to implement any of these plugins. When you activate them on your site, they'll populate on your left-hand dock here, and then you can edit from there. I would recommend using a Ninja table or a table press if you're looking to implement a table. So a table of your coaches or board members. It helps optimize really nicely on mobile and between desktop and mobile. Your users, so if we come into users, all users, if I add a new user, we use the default WordPress users. And so contributor, author, and editor are various levels of contributors to posts. So these three have to do with posts. The administrator is the only person that can edit the actual website. So you all are administrators. If someone else needs to be added as an administrator, you can do that and add them. Lastly, we have our domain mapping under tools. So if you see up here, this is a real domain, webinartestsite.teamsnapsites.com. Someone could search it and they'd find the website. If you guys have a custom domain, so you go into tools, domain mapping. And so this is where you would map your custom domain. So instead of saying webinartestsite.teamsnapsites.com, say I own webinar.com, which I don't, but say I did. I could map that domain here. Before I map that, I should go to our help center and I should say use a custom domain. And this will allow you to follow the steps to essentially release the DNS settings and make sure that the A record is correct on your domain hoster. So if you have a domain through GoDaddy, Google Domains, Namecheap, any of those, you need to log into your domain hoster, make sure that your settings are all correct, and then you can come to your website, click this, type in the domain and hit map domain. You can map multiple domains and you can decide which one's the primary, etc. So those are the main pieces to get you started on the site. I'm going to go visit my site. If you come into the site right here and you realize you don't have this black little bar at the top, it's likely because you are not logged in to WordPress. And so if that ever happens, you can always go to your.teamsnapsites.com, so whatever the URL is, and say /wp-admin. Oopsies, WP-admin. And this will bring you to the login page so you can make sure you're logged in. If you have mapped a new domain, so this is no longer the primary domain, but you've mapped that webinar.com, then you need to type in webinar.com/WP-admin. You need to use the most up-to-date URL. All right, so that is your overview, your 25-minute overview to get you started on building your site. And of course, don't hesitate to let us know if you have questions or need help. But thank you so much for tuning in.